Hello Super Sentai fans and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today I'm very excited to be taking a look at the Premium Bandai exclusive Avataro Sentai Donbrothers Deluxe Ninjark Sword. This is really cool. So this is the first Premium Bandai item I've had from Donbrothers. It's one of the first ones to be released alongside things like the Noto brace and stuff like that. But this is the changer and main weapon, and also I guess technically like the entire existence of DonMurasame's, which is a fantastic, really cool evil purple ranger that we have in Donbrothers this year. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. I love evil repaints of toys that I already have that are fun. I love purple rangers. This is really cool. I love the functionality with this thing. It is a very huge box that can barely fit in the display in the whole review station here. So if it wasn't already obvious from just the show and of course the toy itself, it is a repaint and remold of this, the Zanglassword, which was released in the main Donbrothers toy line for Avataro. I think like this one has a lot of functionality with all the different LED colors it can do with Sentai gear and Avataro gear patterns. But like functionality wise, I might kind of like the Ninjark Sword better, not gonna lie. I'm gonna just put the Zanglassword off to the side here. But yes, this box is sweet, and I have to be fully zoomed out to even be able to look at it in any capacity. And I want to show you the sides really badly, but it's just going to not fit into frame, so I'm gonna have to include like pictures of those when we get there. But as you can see, it says Deluxe Ninjark Sword. It has a bunch of kanji and stuff all over the place here. A really cool shot of DonMurasame's that just looks sweet. And of course you get a picture of it right here. I love how this looks. Here's kind of a comparison just to show you how big the box is. Here is DonMurasame's, his Yudo figure, standing next to it. And this is a 4-inch figure, so kind of just a nice comparison with it, which I do think it looks really cool when you have the figure of DonMurasame's and then his weapon, which is also his changer, which, like I said earlier, is also kind of himself because he's like a sentient flying around sword. It's just a cool thing. I love it a lot. And then at the top here, we kind of have this cool like glitchy effect version of it here. You see Deluxe Ninjark Sword. You get kind of the fin or the top of the Murasame helmet, which looks awesome. On the bottom, you just get a picture over here of Murasame and the sword, kind of being stuck in stone kind of thing, which is neat. And you get all the safety stuff and everything. And then on the back of the box is where you kind of get some interesting, kind of weird stuff, but still really cool looking stuff. So you get the "what's up," and it goes to "dum dum 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 dum," and then you get the whole symbol of him there, which I still think that shark looks a lot like Kamen Rider Abyss from Decade. Then you get some more text and stuff of all the different stuff it does, all the different jingles. You have DonMurasame's there in the middle. Now this was pointed out by Anthony over at Heroes of Fandom. I never noticed this before, but it is very strange. So you have these really cool pictures of DonMurasame's holding the Ninjark Sword. But he's not holding the Ninjark Sword. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that so you can see what I'm talking about. So as you can see, they've superimposed a picture of the toy over his hand. Like there's no fingers gripping that whatsoever. And they did it over here too. Like there's no fingers gripping this thing. They did kind of bother to Photoshop this part of the fingers like over there, but they're kind of trying to make the sword look a little bit more bigger than it is because it's obviously like not the most show accurate size. It's a little dinky and a little kind of chubby to make it the toy. But it's not terrible. It definitely works for what it needs to do. Now the sides of this box are very interesting. So on the one side, which I'm going to turn over here, it says Alter Change and has pretty cool pictures of DonMurasame's Alter in his shark mode and also in his actual like robot Alter form. And this is like the one piece of DonMurasame's merchandise besides his Yudo figure that was released at mass retail because they actually did make this in the Change Hero line. But his mecha is a Premium Bandai exclusive and his sword is Premium Bandai exclusive. So kind of unfortunate there. But then the other side of the box has this incredibly interesting picture to represent Avataro Change, which is spelled very strangely. But this is the thing that he can do, kind of like the Donbrothers can do, or like Dondora Goku can do for 6 Rangers. He can turn into like evil Rangers. However, as you can see here on the box, they have Abure Killer and Staceaser. Now, Abure Killer, he actually did transform into in Donbrothers. There was an episode that he became Abure Killer. So that makes sense. But Staceaser, at the time of this video, which episode 42 is the most recent episode at the time of this recording, he's never become Staceaser at all. And so we don't know if he's actually going to do that. There's actually also special functionality with Staceaser's gear in this toy, which is really cool, but also very bizarre because like the show just hasn't done anything with that and the toy just has it. So that's something. So here's the Ninjark Sword out of the box with everything that it comes with. Now while we just went over the box, weirdly enough, the 3 included Avataro Gears, which are exclusive to this release, are just not promoted on the box. I don't even know why these exist. I get what they're going for with it, but I don't know why they exist. So basically, if you couldn't tell, these are our first time getting Blue Ranger Avataro Gears, which is a bit of a deviation to the typical Red Rangers or 6 Rangers that we've gotten. But they all have a certain theme besides being Blue Rangers. they're all shark themed, and DonMurasame's is inherently shark themed. So you get Volshark from Sun Vulcan, you get Gal Shark or Gal Blue from Gal Ranger, and you get Geoshark from Geoger. Now they did not include Gosei Blue, which also could be a shark, so you know, how dare you, I'll have to put my Megaforce figure over here to substitute for that. I don't really know why they didn't include him necessarily. I don't really get it at all. I always kind of thought maybe they would include him with like a release of his buckle or something, but that doesn't seem to be something that Bandai's actually going to do. So we just have these 3 gears here, which are cool looking, but don't really serve much of a purpose, because they're only going to function, and I will show it off in the Dawn Blaster, they're only going to function as Sun Vulcan, Gal Ranger, and Geoger gears, and nothing different other than just the look of them. You don't even need them to unlock the special shark-related sounds for them in the sword, and they've never appeared on screen. They don't seem like they ever are going to, so it's one of those things where like this does everything that you see the toy do on screen, but you have things like Staceaser functionality, and you have things like those that I just don't know if they were planned only for the toy, or if the show is going to do it eventually, but we're kind of running out of time here. But this sword is freaking cool. I love the design of it so much. I definitely probably do prefer it to the Sunglass Sword, which I'm going to bring in right here. So here are the 2 swords, and we don't have like a ton of room to kind of compare them, but I'll kind of zoom out like that. But as you can see, they are the same kind of size. The Ninjark Sword does kind of extend slightly longer because this blue blade is a little bit longer. It definitely has a significantly larger like spinning wheel. But basically they've replaced all kind of the black plastic with pink. They've replaced the yellow painted plastic down there with a black painted plastic. The trigger is a different kind of color, of course. You still have that kind of gradient there, but it's just a little bit of a different color. And of course the blade itself is brand new with a jaggedy kind of sharky edge. But you know, if you got the Zanglass Sword, you pretty much know what you're getting with this one. It's nothing too crazy whatsoever or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and begin the functionality of kind of demoing out this toy and what it does, and we'll take a look at the Avataro Gears kind of later on when we're ready to show them off with functionality with the Dawn Blaster and everything, because this still retains that infrared scanner there that will work with the Dawn Blaster, or also with the Tora Gourd, or I always forget what the thing's called, the Tiger Dora. It also has functionality with that as well. So of course, since it is just a repaint, the on and off switch is in the exact same spots. It takes 3 AAA batteries, which are not included, and it's going to light up pretty nice when we turn it on, so let's go ahead and do so. So I really do like that quite a bit. We've heard that kind of sound before. We even heard it more recently than like the past episode when Inu Brothers kind of summoned it and everything that made that sound. So I really like that a lot. You get the nice blue light in there. Now when you don't do anything with any transformations or anything like that, and you just click the trigger button, you're going to get 3 different sword slashes sounds, which will kind of correspond and kind of make the sword light up with the different colors that it can do. So as you see, we have a pink, a blue, and a green light, and it's just going to kind of cycle through those. So as you can tell, not as colorful as the Zanglass Sword, which has an entire rainbow of colors. It has corresponding colors to specific infrared scanner stuff. So while this one has a lot more functionality with sounds, in a way, it's kind of a more advanced toy on its own, where the other one you kind of really need other stuff to do stuff with. It's kind of sacrificed the lights because of that, which is perfectly fine. You don't really need this sword lighting up a bunch of other colors. It lights up kind of the main colors I guess you would kind of expect from DonMurasame's. Maybe not the green necessarily, but it does look nice in that teal translucent blue. But from here, pretty much you kind of just have to do the different modes of DonMurasame's, and I will show off the lights in the dark, because obviously the lights being on the review station kind of blind out the LEDs in there. But just like we have with the Zanglass Sword, a lot of the activations are going to be once you spin this wheel. So to do the actual transformation into DonMurasame's, which would kind of be his morph for his transformation sequence, even though he kind of just floats around on the sword, which is sentient, and it lands on the ground, and then he just materializes out of it, you kind of just have to spin the wheel. So you spin it once, and you get some purple lighting up there, and you want to spin it 4 times for it to kind of fully light up the blade. So we'll kind of turn it this way, and I kind of activated a sword slash, so we'll turn it. There's that. So once you have 4 times, we'll say what's up, and do this awesome thing, which is kind of like such a jam and guitar. I love the standby loop in this. It usually goes for like 15-ish seconds if you don't do anything, but of course, you just have to click the trigger. Love it. Love it so much. That right there, not only was I thought this was a cool design, but that sound right there when we first heard it in the show, like back in June or July or whenever, is when I knew I was going to buy this thing, because I love that so much. I love the what's up. And oh, it's so good. Like, I love it so much. But of course, I think we should probably show you what that looks like in the dark. Alright, so now we are transformed into DonMurasame, so I'll go ahead and actually bring him down here, because now we are DonMurasame, and he's got the whole sword there and everything, so he'll just kind of chill out there. But from here, the sword slashes are going to stay the same. Maybe slightly different, actually. I think they have a little bit more of a kind of a weight to them. But you still only get like 3, and the lights are basically the same, nothing too crazy there. But basically from here, now that we've already done transformation with a spinning wheel, when you do spinnings and stuff like that, there's like attacks you can do, but of course we have the other modes. So I'm going to go ahead and show off the transformations for the other modes, and then we'll do the attacks. So from here, it's always transformation, and then avatar, and then alter. So even though he actually used his alter form before he ever avatar changed in the show, they decided to go with avatar and then alter. So if you spin it again now, it's going to do the same what's up sound, very similar to the initial transformation. So very similar initial transformation there, but then you have the avatar sound and like that, which is awesome. So in the show, like I said, he's only become Opera Killer so far, but I guess he might be becoming Staceaser as well. There is no distinction between those two forms or whatever. It doesn't say Opera Killer in the show or anything like that. It's just a generic avatar sound, so that is accurate here. I wish there was some kind of cool functionality. Like, I wish there was some Opera Killer sounds programmed in here, but there just like isn't. Like, Opera Killer is on the box to show you that yes, he did use that. But the sword doesn't really care. The toy has nothing to really do anything special with that whatsoever. And then now at this point, if you spin it again, you're going to get the Ultra Transformation sound. So you do get a different standby for that. I really like that one a lot. There's a lot of really cool flashing lights and effects with that one. Now, if I had thought this through, I would have brought my DonMurasame Ultra figure home from my dorm for winter break, but I didn't do that. So we only have my regular DonMurasame, no Ultra. I do own that toy. Be sure to check out the review of that from like July. But yeah, that is now DonMurasame Ultra, even though I think he only ever used that thing like twice. Now, there are no sounds in this toy whatsoever for Black Onitajin Murasame, which the toy itself for that, the deluxe mecha, is not really going to have sounds either, so I guess they just don't really care, because there just isn't. Like, even if you scan Avataro Gears with the infrared and everything, there's like nothing that will give you any kind of sound for that being a thing. Which, okay, whatsoever. As you can see, Murasame's stuff is really cool, but like, I don't know how well it's really kind of thought through how well they really want to integrate any of it whatsoever, but whatever, it's fine. But from here, we do have some attacks we can do as well. So to initiate the attacks, it's all going to be about holding down the trigger while spinning the wheel. So to do the attack mode, it's easier to kind of have the sword tilted this way, because I'm going to have to spin and hold this thing down. So for the other ones where we did 4 spins and it did one of the transformation sounds, now what you have to do is you can actually get 4 different attacks based off of how many lights you've spun it on, by holding down the trigger and then spinning it once and let go. So it just said Itchy Shark, or Itchy Shark, it's like 1 shark. So nothing too crazy, they're not a very powerful attack, but now we can do 2. So hold it down again. So we have Knee Shark, so 2 shark. So, a little bit more powerful, and then of course we can do San Shark, so 3 shark. And then of course you can have it for its full potential with having 4 sharks. So as you can see, definitely the fullest charge for a finisher attack there. So I really do like those, kind of some fun finisher attacks there, so you do get 4 of them there, which, you know, I think they just do a pretty good job kind of making the spinning wheel with it and having the different LEDs and everything kind of mean a little bit more. It's a cool way to get extra functionality out of the toy that they just repainted, you know, without it kind of diving into the stuff that made the Zanglassword kind of tick, you know, because the Zanglassword had some different functionalities with the same sort of mechanisms. It's kind of cool that they changed it up a little bit. So with this being a Premium Bandai toy, it's gonna have voice phrases in it, and this is a pretty cool toy to do so because you have 2 different sets of voice phrases you can get out of this. So Murasame himself has kind of a child voice as sort of his main personality, but Murasame listens to the every command of kind of the alternate personality living inside him or inside the sword, who is just referred to as Mother. So this toy does have voice phrases from both Murasame and Mother, and basically to get that, what you're going to do is turn the toy off again if you already have it on. And what you're going to do is now you're going to turn the toy back on again, but this time hold down the trigger while you're turning the toy on, and that will turn it on into voice mode. So now we are in voice mode, so we had Mother talk there a little bit. And what's really cool is that depending on when Murasame is talking or Mother is talking, the sword will light up a different color to indicate which voice is speaking. Now there are 8 voice phrases that we can cycle through here, and then there's also some special phrases we can do when we do all 3 of the different transformation modes again. So I'll go ahead and do all 8 of the voice phrases, so we'll start with the first one. So that was Mother. That was, of course, Murasame. And then it just resets. And of course we have the other one there. So you just have 8 voice phrases and it just resets once we go from there. So not the craziest amount of voice phrases for a Premium Bandai toy. Sometimes they really go nuts with those, but for this one they didn't. But it's still pretty cool that they included it nonetheless. Now when we are in the voice mode here and we have the different transformation jingles, which like I said, I'll just turn it back around again for this. We'll do the initial transformation into DonMurasame's again, but this time it'll have some extra voice phrases.
Avataro Change. Alter mode. Alter Change.
And then of course if you're curious about the attacks, it pretty much doesn't do anything different to those. It just keeps them basically the exact same. There's no voice phrases for those ones. It just does the same thing, so if you're expecting the attacks to be any different, they're not. You just get special voice phrases for the different transformations. And then of course if you want to reset it back to the default mode we were playing around with already, just turn it on, and turn it off, and turn it on again. And that is simple as that. Now, if that is all you own, if you just have the Ninjark Sword, that's where this toy stops. That is the most you can do out of this thing without owning the Dawn Blaster or any other Sentai or Avataro Gears. But of course we gotta show off what it can do if you have a Dawn Blaster and you have other Avataro Gears. So we've brought in the Dawn Blaster and we now have to take a look at these Avataro Gears. So let's go ahead and start with Volshark from Sun Vulcan. So I really like Blue Ranger gears, not gonna lie. I don't really want to buy all these gears all over again as Blue Rangers, but it does kind of just look nice to have a gear that isn't a red or a 6th. It kind of switched up a little bit. So it's kind of funny because with Vol Eagle here, or with Vol Shark and Vol Eagle, now we're just missing Vol Panther to have a full Sun Vulcan team in gear form, and I don't think we're ever going to get it, but we do have a very nice look of Vol Shark there. And of course, it is just a normal Sun Vulcan Avataro gear. It's number 11. All 3 of these gears will function in the Zenkaiju roleplay weapons as well, so nothing too crazy there. Next up we have Gal Blue here, which looks pretty good. I really like how they captured the whole teeth there and everything. Just really cool artwork. I do like seeing other Rangers in this artwork style. And then finally we have Geoshark here, which also looks really, really good. Probably one of my favorite shark-themed suits we've had, which is just really fun to get this. So this is, where is it? Gear number 55. Yep, there we go. So exactly what you expect these gears to do. Now, what's interesting is that, like I had mentioned earlier, they did not include a Gosei Blue gear in here, which would follow all the criteria here with being a Blue Ranger gear, you know, themed after a shark. But I don't really know why they didn't include it. The only theory that people have kind of like come up with is that all three of the blues that are included in this set are technically from Anniversary Sentai, with Sun Vulcan kind of technically being the 5th Sentai, Gal Ranger celebrating the 25th, and Geoger celebrating the 40th, and Goseiger not really following into that. Sure, maybe, but for gears that already didn't need to exist and have no basis in canon, I don't really understand why they didn't just throw in a Gosei Blue to fit this whole thing going on with this. But it's strange, it's still very weird. But from here on out, the only functionality with gears that you, I'm sure, are expecting is when you do the finisher attack infrared scanner with the sword and the Dawn Blaster. So I'm going to go and show that off. It does have unique sounds for the Blue Rangers. It will say Vol Shark, it will say Gal Shark, and it will say Geo Shark. However, it does not matter if you use, like, you could use the Vol Eagle gear, you could even use the Vol Eagle Sentai gear, and it would still register as Vol Shark. And then I brought in a couple of different Avataro gears here for specific reasons. I even brought in one Sentai gear. So we're going to show off what all 5 of these gears do as well, with also Staceaser, which I need to go grab him, because we do have a couple more sounds we can do with this. But let's go ahead and show off, which as I just throw gears over there, all the finisher sounds with different gears, with the sword and the Dawn Blaster. So first up we have Sun Vulcan. So as you can see, it said Vol Shark, and then it had a pretty generic finisher attack, which you're definitely going to hear a couple of times here as we go through all these gears, but that is the first one included with the sword. So I do want to go ahead and test Goseiger here just to prove to you that it does not have any unique sounds for Gosei Blue, so don't expect another shark gear to be on the horizon. It also is going to show you just what a generic Sentai that isn't recognized by one of the 3 shark ones does with the Ninjark Sword. So it just has a rather very generic finisher attack for that one. And just to prove that there is no Abare Killer functionality, here's the Abba Ranger Sentai gear, because I don't have the Avataro gear version of it. So same thing as Goseiger did. Now where there is some functionality is with the Donbrothers here, so I believe what the instructions said is that if you have any of the main 5 Donbrothers in there, you will get a unique sound in there. It would be the same sound for all 5 of the Donbrothers though, so we're just going to go ahead and show off Avataro. So as you can tell, it really only changes that very beginning of it when you scan something else that, like, isn't a regular Sentai gear. Now I figured I'd go ahead and try it while the instructions say that Avataro Sentai sound is only going to be for the main 5 members. Here's what happens when you use either Dorogoku or Torobolt's gears. So it does know when you use Dorogoku or Torobolt, and will just do the regular Donbrothers sound. Now I do want to go ahead and try a Robotaro gear. I don't believe the instructions say anything about one, and by the way, the instructions are going to be included as a PDF link in the description below, which you can scan from the box as well. But due to the fact that there is a gear basically that's repainted for this for the Black Untitled DonMurasame's, you would think that the sword would recognize it, but I don't think that it does. But we're going to try it anyway. Just try a generic Robotaro. Yeah, it doesn't. And finally for gears, that brings us to the one that is just so strange to me, Staceaser. So, for some reason, even though this gear you can still only get on Premium Bandai with the gear toyline, the Dawn Blaster had a unique sound for him, and now this one has a unique sound and unique color and stuff for him as well. So I don't know if he is going to ever use anything with Staceaser in the remaining like 7 episodes, or maybe he'll use it in a versus special with Zenkaiger or something. But yeah, there are unique Staceaser sounds in here for whatever particular reason. So I think that's really cool. It's just very bizarre because like there is no Staceaser Avataro gear. You have to unlock that with the Sentai gear, at least as of right now. But I do think it is really cool. If Staceaser really did kind of pave the path for us to get another villainous Purple Ranger this year. So I do think it's cool that there is some kind of connection. Maybe it's just sort of kind of to reference the fact that he probably only exists because of the success of him. And it's a very similar thing to where it's a Premium Bandai repaint, purple kind of repaint of a, you know, evilish version of a pre-existing toy. Maybe it's just supposed to be kind of a fun connection like that. But it's just kind of interesting, you know, they advertise it on the box and everything, so I had to show it off. Alright, and with that, that is everything that we can do with the deluxe Ninjark Sword from Avataro Sentai Donbrothers. I highly recommend this thing. If you have the Zanglassword, it is unique enough with special sounds and special infrared scanners and transformation devices to make it feel like its own unique toy. It's pretty cool to have like a dual wield thing going on with this. I love the functionality, I love the special gears, I love the color scheme and the music and the sounds. I love the character, I love the suit. I really do like this thing quite a bit, and I highly can recommend it for any fan of Donbrothers, any fan of DonMurasame's. If you're a fan of Evil Rangers, that's always a cool thing whenever we get stuff like that. I love it. It's really, really cool. I can highly recommend it here, and I'm happy that they released it for, it was reasonably-ish expensive. It was close to like $100 on Toy Collectibles, but I do highly recommend it if you want to track it down on the aftermarket, or if you already got it and you just kind of want to see everything you can do. There's a lot of fun stuff with this, especially if you have the Dawn Blaster and you have other Sentai and Avataro gears. So until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LiveRangerKey or at LightningFigPR, and please be sure to check out my entire Avataro Sentai Donbrothers toy list of playlist videos here on the channel, where I go over the entire gear toy line from both Zenkaiger and Donbrothers. Lots of really cool videos on all this stuff going on there. And let me know down in the comments below, did you pick up this sword for your collection? Do you plan on picking it up? What do you think of DonMurasame's? Maybe it could have included a Staceaser and Killer Avataro gears. Maybe that would have been kind of cool rather than the shark ones, or do you like the novelties of the shark ones? Anything that you guys want to say down in the comments below, I want to read it, and I will see you all later.